All right, thank you.
Thank you. That completed policy updates.
Sure. In your packets, I listed, requested revisions to board policy. I believe there's between 15 and 20 revisions this month coming to you. Some of it is driven by changes in the federal protective class clause. So you'll see numerous policies that are updated to expand those clauses. A couple of the policies are just simple renumberings because we model our policies after the wgsd database. Some of the policies are responsive to the changes in DPI. So I'm not quite sure if you want to go through one by one or if you had specific questions or how you wanted to proceed with a couple of these things. I think number 425, open enrollment policy, is probably the biggest change because of some changes that went into effect September 14, which are actually targeted to begin or go into effect statewide for 15-16 school year. That's something we should probably talk about a little bit more, as well as the 4K piece in policy 421. But many of the other policies were in some ways clerical cleanups, and you know, several of the policies are 15 plus years old, so they needed to be looked at.
I think if we could just start from the beginning, go through just so it's organized that way, so we're coming through might be the easiest.
Sure.
But I'm just thinking that someone will be very quick and then we all
Yeah, that would be fine.
support.
Sure, thank you for the suggestion. Policy 370 is something we updated last spring as far as the extracurricular piece. And what we did is we collapsed policy 377 then, because actually policy 370 folds in a lot of the key pieces for the interscholastic athletic piece. So other than the title change, and then like I said just a few moments ago, the non-discrimination protective class clause, those are the only updates with policy 370. And then go with that, we are deleting policy 377.
And then the question.
Policy 411 is a complete overhaul due to legal ramifications or legal changes. And so basically what I did is I took the template from one of the templates, I should say, from the recommended database from WASB and changed some of the wording. If you look at our previous policy, it's a hodgepodge of about 3 or 4 different policies, and quite frankly, we need to have an equal opportunities policy, period. We need to have a student harassment policy, period. We need to have a student bullying policy, period, and have those all separated out. And so that was the thrust behind the revision to policy 411. Then you'll notice, in addition to the policy change, we set up some formats. So what I'm saying is we've got the guideline then to policy 411 as far as the procedures in dealing with discrimination complaints related to students. Third, an annual notice needs to go out about student non-discrimination. So that's the public notification piece related to 411. And then there's an updated complaint form related to student discrimination and harassment that is part of policy 411. Then you'll notice, as I just said a moment ago, I created policy 411.1, which was previously folded into the 411 policy because we needed a separate student harassment policy. And so that's what 411 is. And then a few years back, because of state legislation, we had to implement a bullying policy, student bullying policy. And all we're doing there is just renumbering that so it aligns with the WASD policy library piece. So that's just a simple renumbering. Any question about 411, 411.1, or 411, or excuse me, 412?
I have a couple questions on just 411. The 7th paragraph down, last paragraph there, where it talks about complaints regarding interpretation or application, shall be referred to then as a staff position. For
Right.
example, do we need to put in who that would be?
Yeah, we can do that. That's fine. Because it actually differs depending on the different things.
Sure. So I just didn't know if it had to be more clear.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you. All right.
Of who would get which ones.
Right, I understand. Thank you. We'll probably put it in my position, and not my name. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then, the guidelines, the 411 guidelines, just going through, some of the, I guess, the timeline, the days that they gave. I wonder, if this would really keep going, it could be a very long time.
Sure.
So I didn't know if, like, under informal resolution of complaint, if that where it says, will investigate take a reply within 20 working days, or if we should go to 10 working days? Or if there was a reason that there was 20, I wasn't sure.
Typically, I was following what was in place previously, and also melded together what was in the database. The 20 piece is to make sure if you're investigating something, you actually have the chance to talk with everyone, and then go back and circle around. It's just, I realize a month is a long time. I get what I know where you're coming from.
And I
It's
just think about it if it's like a student harassment situation or some of those other things, and they're still in that environment for,
Another one.
that's a long time.
Okay,
And so I don't know, but I also get the reality of being able to do a thorough investigation.
sure.
But it doesn't mean it take 20 days, it just means
They have up to.
there's a limit on it. So it could take 3 or 4.
I can tell you some of the pieces that go on more so related to bullying sometimes take a full week, just because of all the investigations and the people that are all, I should say the interviews, not the investigations, but. Right, and circling around, so. But if you'd like to adjust that, that's receptive to that.
And then, under step 1, I guess just maybe indicating who would serve in that role once again, that they would put that written statement complaint to,
Okay,
just who that is.
yes, thank you.
I think that was what I had for 411. And anybody else have anything else?
Any concern about the renumbering of 412? Okay. Is that all right if I go on to 420 then? All right. 420 is the school admission policy. There's a couple of updates there. First off, updated protected class clause. And then the state allows us now, well, a few years ago, they allowed districts to actually decline admissions based on expulsion status of kids. And so, like I said a few moments ago, this policy is 13 years old, and since then, the updated verbiage then reflects the expulsion piece.
The only 2 questions I had were, do we need something about that they would be assigned to a school in their attendance area or residency, and then, the district administrator could approve an exception?
Okay.
Maybe some verbiage about that, and then do we need anything about?
Were we
providing-
thinking of adding that?
I wasn't sure if it would have a separate paragraph, but, maybe right after that 3rd paragraph there.
Okay.
And I didn't know if there would need to be anything about proof of residency or anything, policies like that in there. So those are just things that I wondered.
They can get a little bit dicey with homeless,
Right.
obviously, but then they can just tell us what their homeless situation is.
Right.
So, okay.
And then offers other services too.
Exactly,
That was
exactly.
my only feedback.
Okay. Policy 420.1, cleaned up some of the language there as far as updating, rather than just a guidance counselor. Actually, the principals use a whole pupil service team, depending on who's available. Typically, when kids transfer in, they look at the previous school's report card to determine grade level placement. And then the last piece, which was updated, actually this policy goes back to 1999 when there was still half-day kindergarten. and there's some parameters as far as student placement at that point. And so what you're seeing is just a combination of elementary placement and middle school placement. And then I connected with Mrs. Markle about that middle school piece, and she recommended the deletion of the verbiage in part of number 2 on the back page there.
That's good.
And I just wondered about taking out, and I can pass this down to you, but may include any or all of the following, and then just listing those. For example, like instead of saying under C, the results of an interview with the student doesn't necessarily need to be conducted by the guidance counselor or the principal in that. So just crossing some of those extras out.
Sure.
I'm gonna pass that down.
Thank you.
So it's only Bob.
Trying, but I don't think it's really issues, but.
Simplify it.
Just say next
Right.
time you gotta back out like this, we need on Wednesday.
Right.
All right. On to 421. Basically, the changes here in 421, we updated the non-discrimination clause on the 3rd page, but then we specified out 5K and 4K. And the piece here, I'm not sure if this is lengthy conversation or if you already have thought about this as far as an early admission perspective for the 4K. I can tell you that there are some parents that are asking already. The questions come to me. But the recommendation from administration is no. And
Go with that.
part of it is it's really hard to assess kids that young. And is finding a meaningful tool. But secondly, just overall statewide, typically there's not an early admission piece in most districts.
4K is to get kids ready for kindergarten,
That was the intent.
not to allow kids to enter 3 to get ready to early advanced to kindergarten and do the whole thing every year. I say you go one more grade.
Right. Okay.
So,
Okay. All right, in the case of tuition arrangements, I'm on 422 now. Basically, what was updated there was the non-discrimination clause. So, and there's 2 forms related to that, an application form as well as then the agreement form as far as the tuition charges. Okay. A little bit more discussion now probably about the open enrollment policy 425. The nice thing is our policy probably didn't need as much work considering the work that we've done the last 2 years on it, but the state has changed or updated its parameters, as I said, that went into effect in September with the intent of it rolling out into next school year. So just bear with me and I'll summarize verbally what those key changes are. First off, all open enrollment pieces don't have to come back to the school board as we have been doing previously, that you can designate that off to district administration. It doesn't preclude us from coming back to you in case we have a question in a tough case and we need your ruling. So that addresses one thing. The second piece that came up in these new parameters is that the one action that the board for sure needs to take is actually declaring every January how many open seats you have. Now, you can leave it and just say, we'll take everyone, and you're done. Or you can do it more systematically and calculate it as far as how many seats are available in specific programs, like special education, but also how many seats are available per grade level. Now, the last couple of years, we've done it per grade level and with special education. So in practice, that's not new for us. We just have to be more specific in policy about that. But the kicker, or the most important piece that the state emphasized in its updates then, is if you are going to set limits and then have more applications than what you have designated space, how do you determine who gets in? And they're requiring a random selection process now, whereas it's not first come, first serve. And that random selection process would be implemented after you've taken siblings of existing kids, as well as kids that are applying for open enrollment that may have been in your district. So I'm saying is there would be a prioritization of kids that are already here and of siblings, but then we're getting into that random selection piece. The nice thing is
Are they
that
recommending or are they stating?
you have to.
Yeah.
So it's a statute, it's
It's DPI,
a DPI
administrative guidelines.
recommendation,
Yeah,
that doesn't make the law.
I'll go back and double check, and I'm almost positive
Well, it's a
with
state
the law.
statute, you have to do it as well.
Yeah.
So DPI recommendation does not make it a law.
I understand, no, I understand what you're saying.
Like, funding and also any objections that could be filed.
Okay,
That.
all right, I'll double check on that.
First come, first served makes much more sense when you have people come in at a timely fashion. When you have somebody come in at the end.
Generated numbering system that you give them.
Yeah, you just have somebody come in at the end and throw the whole thing into. You know.
I asked that question, actually, and what I was told was the DPI sees the open enrollment window as the opportunity. It's not
That
just.
makes sense.
And so that's why they want the random numbering system rather than the first come, first served. That's not a race to access the open enrollment privilege.
I would agree with that.
Is this another one with?
So it says to do within the hard date.
Yeah, it
Of
does.
those.
It does.
that's-
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's not gonna be if we extend open enrollment after the window's done, that somehow these people have to go back and reorganize.
no.
Okay, good.
And to add on to your question and response in the conversation here, say, because this has happened, say there's someone that has missed the open enrollment window, and then they come to us a couple weeks later through the exclusion clause or the best interest of the child type of a thing. We're really not supposed to start that till July 1st. And then they would go, we still are obligated to take the people from the earlier, yes, from the earlier open enrollment stage before we would take the exclusionary clause situations. The exception, of course, is the sibling and if they were already here. But
But if they're mainstream, but also special ed, you have to keep that spot open in the regular enrollment, in case it's not open in special ed.
that's correct, right? And that was a clarification as well.
So you're still gonna come back with a recommendation of individual sections?
Yes,
And things good.
We'll have that in January now?
you will. So, what you've got with 425 is you've got the update to the policy, and then you've got basically the guideline and the procedure as far as how the random selection process is going to work. The nice piece is that Lene and Mary already put the stuff into Excel, and Excel has a feature to generate the random numbers. So it's not as complicated as what they make it sound. The assignment of students to classes is policy 433. What was updated there is just the non-discrimination protected clause.
And the class assignments for the next school year shall be available at registration. And so they don't know what happens.
That's true.
So I didn't know if we either want to change when we get it or when.
What if we said available in August? In late August? Because that's
Because like one
usually-
pictures were taken earlier than we went that way. So
Yeah.
I think in August is fine, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, okay. All right, with policy 443.1, basically, what had ended up happening in our policy collection is that there was in the back of the policy, there was basically a procedure as to how to deal with student disturbances. And so I'm actually going to remove that from the code of conduct policy and slide that over into a guideline of the student disturbances policy. So it's more so just moving one thing out of the policy to another.
Questions?
Student dress code policy would be a new policy. Basically, it's stemming from making sure that we've got district, an overall district umbrella, and then the individual buildings, and they do this already, have more specific criteria built into their student handbooks at the sites. But just some overall general guidelines related to student dress. What I want to clarify here, and I used the template recommended from WASD. What I want to clarify here, if you look in number 1, second sentence, it says student attire that causes or is likely to cause a material interference of school operations. What material interference is if you wear like a real interesting or unique costume that people can't see beyond you. That's what that means. And then the number 4, it says clothing and accessories that cause excessive maintenance problems. A few years back, there were some shoes. They still might be around that had like roller skates on them too.
Yes.
And certain kinds of shoes that have really black soles that can mark up. That's the intent behind the excessive maintenance piece. All right, the student behavior on the buses is just an update to the non-discrimination protected clause. Again. The alcohol and drug use policy related to students is actually more contemporary language that embraces basically, I guess, more issues or things that we're seeing in society that weren't there maybe 12, 13 years ago when this policy was updated last. And so the verbiage is updated there, updated bullet points, and then the non-discrimination clause is updated as well.
Page 6, under emergency. May
Yes.
contact paramedics, might be emergency personnel. We don't have paramedics out here.
Okay, thank you. All right, going on to the policy 511 and 512. I guess the piece that I'd like you to just understand is something that we needed to clean up. Was just like we have a student non-discrimination policy and a student harassment policy, we need to have separate policies for employees as well. And so that's what 511 and 512 address. Some of the policies are complete replacements, and using verbiage from the policy database. And what you'll notice then with 511 is the policy, then the guidelines as far as the complaint procedures, and then the form to file the complaints. 512 then goes on to address harassment and or bullying complaints from the employee perspective. Again, the process for doing that, and then the form.
I wonder for the 511 and 512 guidelines under the informal procedure, we just need to put in, who will investigate the complaint and reply to the complaint, like within 10 days, 10 working days, or if we need to put some timeline in there.
In the informal section?
Yeah, under
I
both.
was flipping pages, so I couldn't catch up. All right,
511 and 512.
okay.
And I just put in 10 working days, but I'm hoping so. That sounds okay.
Thank you for that.
I'm assuming under arrest and conviction record at 511, the exceptions policy, of course, you say federal law, there's something in there to give us wiggle room to say, person convicted with issues against students and or children is nothing we want on our premises.
Correct.
So we've got something in there to give us the color to say,
Correct. Yeah. I mean, it's similar too if we're looking for someone that handles money and as an unfortunate incident from the past there,
Can't be
you know.
funded, yeah.
Right. So those are the policy reviews for this month that I would look for, based on your updates and suggestions, that we would move to first reading then. Okay.
You have 3 next round, there's a big stack that's set on the
Some
cards.
early, please, yeah.
They weren't all ready.
Sure, but even
That's-
if they're stacked,
Okay,
that's fine.
all right, that's fair. All right,
In our packets was the letter from DPI. regarding-
Yes, I just wanted to let you know that we had gotten $25,000. So that was excellent.
Yeah, partner to further educate our veterans.
great.
More money is good. Except when it comes to a lot of strings attached.
This is pretty good.
Okay, so the other thing was, just to also kind of referring to money coming from the state, are you going to keep on top of that grant money that's possibly reintroduced in the biannual budget?
Okay.
Because there should be added money in there that was supposed to be put back in. You might want to send off a letter to our rep, and the close proximity reps, and let them know that we're looking for support on putting that money back in, so we can get our portion of that.